Okay, let's get back to it. Now we've got everything set up, and let's go ahead and bring back the actual airplane geometry. Now there you have it. Okay, now you'll notice that in this, we're off a little bit on the wing, and so I'm going to take all three of these planes, and for me, I'm just going to move them forward a little bit rather than modifying all the wing geometry to fit that. Let's see how we're doing. Let's go to top view. Actually, maybe I shouldn't do that, because now if I interact with any of the files you guys have created, mine will be out of whack. So I'll just do it another way. There's always another way to do stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the edit mode, and then I'll hit 1 on the keyboard so I'm in vertex mode. I have the wrong geometry selected. Let me get out of that. I'll select the airplane and do it again. How about I don't mess that up? All right, I'm going to select that, and then we'll just move this back a bit. You know what I didn't do? I didn't go in and select that from wireframe mode, so I didn't get everything on it. All right, so let's go ahead and move this back. There you go. Now, another thing that's happened here is that first set I oriented to the world there. I shouldn't say to the world, to the airplane, but I don't want that to be that way for the rest of them. So for the rest of these, I'm going to sort of, I did it again. I got to go to wireframe so I can pickbox through it. And then I'll scale those until they're flat, and scale these ones until they're flat. All right, and they don't have to be perfect. It just makes for a cleaner extrusion when we go to extrude. All right, let's go back here again. So I'm going to slide the view over so we can see the rest of the wing. All right, now I want to be in edge select mode, so I'm going to hit 2, and then if we alt select that edge, now we can extrude this out to the rest of the wing. Now remember, the trick is we're going to hit E, although we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to click, and then we'll move this out to create our next polygon. All right, once again, E, click, drag it out. E, click, drag it out. E, click, drag it out. E, click, drag that out. E, click, drag it out. E, oh, I messed that one up. Stop that. E, click, drag it out. I'm going to give myself a little more density at the end here. E, click, drag it out. And then let's do our last set. E, click, drag it out. We'll right there, right to the end. Now, this is going well, except that now if we look at this from the end, you're going to see that our wing is way too chubby. But we will go in and we will mess with that in a little bit. Let's just get it in one view at a time. So here we go. I might move this a little bit further out. Let's go like that, cover the end of the wing a little better. Let's go ahead now and introduce the taper into the wing that's here, at least in this view. Let's go back into the vertex select mode. Actually, I lied. Let's do edge. And then I'm going to alt select that edge so I get the entire edge loop, and we're going to go to scale. Let's scale it down in this direction, and then remember that ultimately if you hold down shift you'll get a more refined move. Now, one thing I want you to pay attention to is that the amount that I'm off on this side, I'm trying to make it the amount that I'm off on this side. If you do that, then at the end all you should have to do is just move it over and it should be correct again. Now I'll alt click this one here, and the same thing again. We're going to go to scale, scale that, and then I'm going to hold down shift to make it more refined. Try to average out that error, each being equally off on both sides, and then let's bring that forward. Okay, then I will alt select this again over here. We will go to scale, scale in X, hold down shift, get it close, go to move, bring that over. I overshot that a little bit. So now I'll overshoot it, try to make it the same on both sides, and then we'll go back to scale. We'll ignite the going in X only, then hold down shift. And there we go, looking better. I will alt select that, and once again it's the same process. We're going to bring that in. Let's go for that, see if that works. It gets to be that the error is so big it's hard to visualize it, to try to get it just so. That wasn't too bad. All right, alt select. Then we're going to, how about we move it first this time, and we'll try to get about the right amount off on both sides. go to scale, hold down shift, and there you go. And then we will go again to move. We'll bring this over just a smidge to optimize that. Okay, now let's shift middle mouse, pan that over. I will alt select here again, and we will go to scale. Let's bring this in, try to again to guesstimate that view as best we can. Go to move, bring this over. We did pretty well on that one. And then again, alt select, all right. We're going to scale this in. Now this one's a little bit weird in that we should just deal with this in a little bit different way. On this one instead, we're going to go to selecting the vertices, and I'm going to have to go back and forth real quickly on the different shading methods here. Now we're going to move these, and we'll move these in this plane, and we'll start to orient these. Let's see, am I going to leave anything behind? No, we got them, great. Okay, so I'm going to start to distribute these out. It's doing that again, so I'm going to break the code on how to get Blender to not do that. I still haven't quite found that yet. All right, and we're distributing these out. I might make this a little bit better over here. Let's grab these ones here. Let's bring these out as well. That will still be part of the edge. Let's grab those. Those ones will come here and be start of the return, be a part of the start of the return. We'll bring these over here like that. And look at that. We've got what's a pretty well-oriented bit of geometry. These could be better internally here, so why don't we fix those real quick. What's cool is this has been the first time maybe here when we can actually do a little bit of sculpting. So let's go ahead and bring these in and, you know, just make them organized a little better than they were had we not done this. All right, let's go back to hardware shading, and you can see what's going on. I accidentally did not hit shift, so let's pan over. And you can see right now the edge loops flow a little bit funny here. We can go in and we can modify that kind of stuff as we want. All right. And but that's really getting into the nitty-gritty. I will be happy if you guys can even get me into the ballpark. So let's discuss the other issue that we're going to face. Right now, if you look at this from the front view, you'll see that the wing currently is not traveling at an upward angle. So let's go ahead and we will select. I wonder if there's anything I can do here about. I don't see it. All right, so we're going to select this instead from wireframe mode. We'll go back and we are going to scale this, and we will scale it in Z only so that we don't mess anything up, and then we will move it down. And we will start to place this in size and orientation like it should be for the actual size of the wing. All right, now let's go ahead and do the same thing to the next ones. How about we just do them all to start, since they're all going to sort of need that treatment, and then we can go from there. So let's go back to texture. I will select these ones, and we maybe are a little skinny on those. I'll hold down shift so I can be a little bit technical. Of course, again, I have to be careful and select in this view and then go in. So, all right. Now I will move these a little bit, and then I'm feeling pretty confident. Go back to wireframe, grab these, go back to shade, move them up, sort of equalize out the error, go to scale in Z, hold down shift, looking good. Go back to wireframe so we get everything. And realistically, how about we do this all in this view? What I can do instead is I'll go to edge. I will alt select the edge loop, and I'll do that here so we can stop having to go back and forth between shaded and unshaded. I will move this up. I'll try to average out the error. Go to scale. I'll ignite it by starting to move and then holding shift and dial that in, looking good. I will alt select the next edge loop, and we will move that up. and then again, scale. Once it's moving, I'll hold down Shift to refine the movements. Alt select that. All right, and then we will pan over a little bit. We will, well, how about we move it first this time? And we can see that we need to scale. So let's do that a little bit there. Alt select that one. Let's move it up. Then we're going to scale it again, but we're going to scale as usual in Z only. So let's go ahead. Then we hold down Shift and sort of dial in the increment there a little bit. Looking decent. Whoop, that's a little bit more than I wanted. Close enough. All right, Alt select. Let's move this up. We got lucky on this one. It's pretty much perfect. Maybe a tiny skosh. All right, so there's that. Then we will Alt select, move this up. Now it's getting too big. We're going to have to scale down. So again, now I'll hold Shift and try to get the right feel for that. Alt select, move, bring this up, average out the error between the two views, go to scale, and then move. Alt select, move this up, scale, move it up. And then how about on the last one, we'll use vertices because it's getting a little gnarly on the end here. So let's go to vertex. We will grab all these ones on the end and we will go to shade. Let's move them up. The end of this thing is pure chaos right now. We will go to scale and we will scale this down. And then honestly, we will go in and start to custom mod this a little bit now at the end. All right, so let's see what we got. So now you can see what's happening here. The end of this is still open. And I have gone in and accidentally scaled the 3 points on the end too much. I'm going to bring them back, make them more like the other edge out there a little bit. Looking good. And maybe opens up a smidge. Let's make it a little bit wider than the old one. Now let's talk about a way that we could close this off. There's a few different ways that we could do it. All right, let's talk about one way. Let's go to edge select. I could come in here, select that edge, right click, and I could bridge the edge loop. Then I could add a cut, and then I could come in and grab this cut and move it out to sculpt it and make it look nice on the end so that it's well appointed to the rest of the geometry. All right, that's not a bad way to do this. Let's do this for some of the others. I will grab that one, that one, that one, and that one, and I will right click. I will say bridge. Let's add a cut. All right, and you'll see that it's doing a little bit of a wonky thing there. We could come in and we could just say linear and it would not do that. It's trying to do like a blend, trying to smooth out that area there. We don't necessarily want that. Now we're going to go back. We're going to go select a vertex like that. Stop that. Oop, I gotta be more in this view here. I'm selecting that vertex, and so now I'm going to move this, and I'm going to try to move that sort of on top of the old vertex there. Now I can select both of those, right click, and I can say merge vertices at center. All right, so there we go. So now I've sort of welded those into a single vertex. And I can add some sculpting to the outer edge here and a little bit to this one here. I don't have to do anything to those ones. It was only on that one where it wasn't joined initially. We have to sort of weld it together. All right, and now we do need to come in and then sort of weld this last little bit over here. And you can see that the orientation of this is wrong. I'm going to go into top view. I will pan over. And you can see that they're still oriented. They're not normal right now to the surface. We want to turn those so that they're kind of 90 degrees to the surface. We should probably do that to all of these. and turn them so that they're oriented better toward the surface. That'll make for better geometry, but that stuff is getting a little bit ahead of our, getting ahead of our skis here, because realistically, I'll be happy if we're just building. We can get pinky out with it after we're at this point. We can get fancier and fancier with it. So there you go. So we still have a little bit of closing out to do. Let's go ahead and stop that. Let's go ahead and move these out a little bit. All right, and then let's go to edge select by hitting 2 on the keyboard. And then we'll do that, and we'll also grab this one here. We'll right click, bridge. Let's close that out. Let's come in here, select, shift select again, and then we will again right click, bridge, and there you go. We now have this, and there you have it. We have closed off the wing. So why don't we turn off the orthographic views here, and let's just look at the airplane as it is right now. And we could come back in, get out of edit mode, okay, and now we could come in and look at a few levels of refinement on this, and it's looking pretty nice. Okay, so we're getting closer and closer now, and still all the geometry is four-sided, and there's again 100 ways to skin a cat. All right, so let's stop it for right now, and then let's complete the other side of our airplane. All right, I want to see if I can select that weird mystery vertex that's living here. I'm going to go into edit mode, go into vertex mode here. Let's see if I can do it in wireframe. What are you? Yeah, I don't know. I cannot select that. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Another Blender anomaly for right now. We'll find out. I'm always going to find the answer to these things. Sometimes it just takes me a little bit of time. I'll find out what that is. Let's go back. And we'll do that in the next video. Let's cut it for right here. Thanks.